Hey, what's up? This is Ben from WODprep, and in this video, I'm gonna help you get your best score possible on CrossFit Open Workout 20.2. We're gonna talk about the RX division, but we also will mention stuff about the scaled and masters. And if you're someone who's really wanting to get your first ever toes to bar, I have some special tips that I'm gonna include in the toes to bar section of this video, so make sure you pay attention. But really quick, here is the workout. I'm not gonna go through all the different standards. I'm not gonna go through all the different variations. You need to figure out which division you're in and exactly the movement standards as suggested by CrossFit HQ. Next, I want you to know that if you are a master's athlete, WODprep is changing the game this year, and for the foreseeable future, we are changing the game, and we have just launched a program specifically for master's athletes. If you want more details about that, stick around to the end of the video. And then the final point I want to make before we dig into the nitty-gritty of today's video is that, ladies and gentlemen, all three of these movements are movements that people will struggle with, particularly the double unders and the toes to bar. We have been telling you for ever, really, that these movements are going to come. Be sure to spend some time here on YouTube and go through all of the content that WODprep has about how to do double unders and how to learn toes to bar. We have stuff ranging from very beginner videos to help you learn your first reps, all the way through really advanced tips that are gonna help you really crush this workout. So spend some time here and make sure that you look for the WODprep videos on those movements, and I promise you that's gonna help you improve your score. And if you're someone who really wants to dig into these movements, WODprep actually has 8-week step-by-step programs that you can follow either before or after your normal training. If you want more information about those, just go to wodprep.com/courses and you can finally learn how to string together big sets of unbroken toes to bar and unbroken double unders. So if you want that, go check out the link in the comments below or in the description, or just type wodprep.com/courses. So this workout is a long workout, and we're gonna start with pacing strategies. So this is the overall pacing of the workout. There are 3 different levels. We have turbo speed. This is where most of you will probably start, and it is not recommended. Turbo speed is when we come out of the gate going as fast as we possibly can. We feel like $1,000,000. We're flying from movement to movement. What happens is that turbo speed eventually, after a few rounds, turns into what I call the lazy transition. And that's where you surely take your time in between each rep. So you're walking around, you might even hop on your cell phone. Who knows what you're doing? You're just wasting a lot of time in between these transitions. And then that ultimately turns into a familiar scene from 20.1, the dying transition. So this is where you might find yourself in the last 5 or so minutes of the workout if you come out at turbo speed. So the moral of the story here, what is the transition that you should have? You shouldn't be a turbo transitioner. You should not be a lazy transitioner because you're going to waste a ton of time. And you definitely shouldn't die during your transitions and crawl on the floor. What should you do? You should have disciplined transitions. So I'm not suggesting that you follow what the CrossFit Games level athletes did and just run from station to station. What I am suggesting is that in between each different movement, you take a couple breaths, get that heart rate down, and then move. So for me personally, I'm gonna try to force myself to take 2 to 3 deep controlling breaths in between each movement. That's gonna be the same in the beginning of the workout as it is in the end of the workout. I'm gonna try to stay one even controlled pace the entire workout, and then finally at the end, that's when I'm gonna put the pedal to the metal and see how deep I can go into the dark place. But for you, my suggestion is to start at about 80%, whatever that means to you. The first few rounds should actually feel kind of easy. That's what we want. This is a 20-minute workout, folks. This is a very long workout when it comes to CrossFit standards. So start slow and controlled. Have disciplines with your transitions. Don't let them get too long and don't rush them. And then at the very end of this workout, put the pedal to the metal. That is what you need to know when it comes to pacing this workout. Another thing that you want to watch out for is make sure that you have all of your equipment really close. We don't want to do what's called the long distance transition. This is where we have our equipment spread out really far away from each other across the gym, and it just forces you to waste a lot of time in between your transitions. So we don't want that. We want to conserve as much energy as possible. Keep everything nice, close and tight, and that's going to help you transition quickly and efficiently. So let's move on to the first movement, the dumbbell thruster. This movement is going to be really sneaky for a lot of people. I've tested it, obviously, shooting all these demonstration videos. It's heavy, folks, and this is going to be a limiting factor for a lot more people. The overwhelming majority of my suggestions here will assume that you can do them unbroken. I would suggest even resting a little bit extra time so that you don't have to put the dumbbells down. What we don't want to do is pick them up, do a rep, and then have to put them down, and then pick them all the way back up, and then do another rep. Ultimately, you want to stay unbroken. So whatever you need to do to stay unbroken, that is going to be my suggestion. One issue that I'm going to see a lot of people running into is they're going to try to rush that first rep. Just because the CrossFit Games athletes did the curl clean, which can be a great option if you're strong enough, the curl clean isn't always perfect for everyone because it causes you to rush into that first rep. You might get no rep, it might throw you off, you might have to drop the dumbbells. Ultimately, we don't want that. You really won't waste very much time if you simply do a power clean, reset your feet, and then go into your thrusters. If you do that, that is a perfectly fine way to knock out that first rep, and it's actually what I'm going to suggest for an overwhelming majority of the people watching this video. Unless the dumbbells are light for you, then you can always save a little bit of time and energy by doing what we call the curl clean into that first thruster. The next thing I want to talk about is what do we do with the dumbbells after we're done that final fourth rep? Man, this is something I wasn't even expecting, but when I started playing around with those 50-pounders and started putting them on the ground, I realized one thing. People are going to break their toes. It's going to happen. When you drop 50 pounds on the floor and they bounce around like crazy when we're exhausted in the middle of a 20-minute AMRAP, there's a lot of bad things that can happen. So I'm warning you right now, please, please be careful and control the dumbbells to the floor. I know you're going to be exhausted. You're going to want to throw them across the gym or just drop them errantly from overhead. But what could happen is they could bounce. It could hit your toes. It could hit someone else's toes. It could hit anything on someone's body, and it's going to cause a lot of damage. So please control the dumbbells to the ground. Or one thing that I am suggesting, you have to make sure that your gym has these, is have a crash pad. I was actually playing around with putting a pad in front of where I'm doing my thrusters, and then after I'm done the final thruster, I can drop them on the pad and the dumbbells don't bounce around. Obviously, to make sure that you're pulling from the ground, after it hits the crash pad, I pull the dumbbells off, and then you can, be ready for your next set. But having some sort of pad, having something that softens the blow of that dumbbell drop, allows you to drop the dumbbell a little bit quicker and with a little bit less control, so it wastes less energy, and it's also going to be way safer for everyone around you. So that could be something that you try. Not everyone's going to have a bunch of crash pads for every single athlete, but if that's something you're worried about, you could have a pad to put the dumbbells on. The last tip I want to talk about with the thrusters is breathing. It's really easy to accidentally hold your breath during the thruster. You go down, you're holding your breath while you're under tension, and then when you press, you hold your breath the whole time. So be sure that you develop a breathing pattern, and I want you to practice beforehand in your warm-up, practice a breathing pattern. Here's one that I suggest, and you can see I kind of hold my breath when I'm doing the actual squat, and then as I press overhead, I breathe out. And then as the dumbbell starts to come back down into that front rack position, I breathe in and then I brace for the squat. So since it's only 4 reps, you still need to watch out for your heart rate really, really spiking high because a lot of people are going to hold their breath too much. The bottom line is make sure you find a breathing pattern that works for you. I already showed you the one that I do, but you must breathe during the thrusters. Don't be the person that faints in the middle of the thrusters because you're holding your breath. And like I mentioned earlier, be sure to check out all of our videos on thrusters. We have a few. We even have one specifically on breathing for thrusters. So just go into that search bar, especially if you're on YouTube, type in WODprep thrusters, and you will find a lot of great content that will help you get a better score. Even if it is with a barbell, all the same rules apply here. The next thing I want to talk about is toes to bar. toes to bar are going to absolutely crush people. It's not that many reps. 6 toes to bar in a row, it's not going to be that bad for people who are proficient, but for everyone here who's really worried about finally getting your toes to the bar, this is going to be the section for you. So if you've been following WODprep for any amount of time, you might know what's coming. Toes to bar singles are going to be a huge win for a lot of people. The dumbbell thrusters are going to require a lot of core strength and stability. If we smoke them on the toes to bar, then the dumbbells are going to get way worse. So what I'm suggesting, especially if you're not very good at stringing together toes to bar, is you should do quick singles. Here's an example. You'll notice that the bar is barely above my standing reach. In fact, I'd even suggest finding a bar that's right at the top of your hands so you don't have to jump. I just simply do a rep, and then as soon as my toes touch the bar, I drop and set up for the next rep. It is not very much slower than doing unbroken sets, but the moral of the story here is you must avoid doing the dreaded death swing. This is oftentimes what I'll see when people try to string multiple toes to bar together. It turns into stringing multiple swings together with maybe a toes to bar like scattered in there. We don't want that. That is going to crush your hands. It's going to crush your core. It's going to crush your time. It's going to crush your soul. Whatever you do, don't do a death swing. I'd much rather see you do quick singles, or even you can do sets of like 3 and 3. But if you ever feel yourself starting to sway back and forth and get out of control, drop off the bar and reset. I promise you it's going to save you a lot of time. Another thing, when you're doing those singles, when you're doing the quick singles, or really whenever you're doing your toes to bar, make sure you don't have to jump really high to grab the bar. It's silly even talking about it, but I've seen so many people, they pick the tallest bar in the gym because they feel like they need a lot of space for their legs. Don't do that. Don't be the person who has to jump 15 times higher than everyone else, because what's going to happen is that's going to kill you in your double unders. So have a bar that's just above your maximum standing reach, do singles or small sets, and last but not least, if you are someone who's finally trying to get your first toes to bar, maybe you're looking at this workout and you're saying, Ben, I would do this RX if only I could get a couple toes to bar. Well, this is the tip for you. You need to try the box drop-in method. This is a method that works. It is legal. If you go read the standards, it talks about you need to start with your arms fully extended under the bar, and then your feet need to pass back behind the bar, and then you can do your toes to bar reps. These reps that we're showing you, the box drop-ins, are completely legal. Can you use them in a competition? Maybe not. In like an in-person competition, but here in the CrossFit Open, this is going to help you finally get your toes to the bar, and it is legal. We have checked, and if you're someone who's finally trying to get those first toes to bar, please, when you finally get them by doing the box drop-in, leave a comment below. I would love to hear if this video helped you get your first toes to bar. The key that you need to know about the box drop-in is all we're doing is I'm getting set up, I'm reaching to the bar, and then I'm using the momentum of that slight jump to help my feet swing up and touch the bar. It's great, and it's going to help you accumulate single reps. And if you've never tried it before and you've never done a toes to bar, please try it out and you will definitely be surprised. So if you happen to be in the scale division or in the master's scale division, or there's a whole bunch of divisions, but if you're in the division that needs knee raises instead of toes to bar, so that's the scale division for the most part, knee raises are very quick and you shouldn't need to do singles for those. Chances are when you hop up on the bar for your knee raises, you're going to be able to knock those out no problem, 6 unbroken every time, even if it's not your strong suit. So get through the knee raises, and you're going to be spending most of your time in this workout probably on the thrusters and the single unders, and that's totally fine. Just blow through the knee raises and you're going to be fine. If you're in the division that does sit-ups instead, again, they're not going to be very difficult. 6 sit-ups isn't very much, but one quick tip that I want to give just to save your butt, literally, is make sure that you sit on top of some sort of pad. If you do these ab mat sit-ups without any sort of pad and you're actually sitting on the floor, you might get what we call monkey butt. Someone in the comments, or everyone watching this who's had monkey butt, leave a comment below and say, I, and then your name, have experienced monkey butt and I never want anyone else to experience again. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask a friend. They'll tell you all about monkey butt. You don't want it, and if you're doing the ab mat sit-ups, be sure to slide a pad under your rear end. And it goes without saying, especially when we're talking about toes to bar, again, go to the search bar and type in WODprep toes to bar. We have so much incredible content out there that can help you get your first rep, and it can also help you learn multiple reps unbroken. That is going to help you crush this workout. So be sure to utilize all the content that we've been making for the past 5 years to help you get better at toes to bar. Last but not least, it's time. It's finally time to talk about double unders. Everyone's arch nemesis, it seems. Everyone freaks out when double unders are programmed. We all knew they've shown up in every single open every year. Double unders are here. So let's talk about a few intricacies that will help you move more smoothly through these double unders. So when it comes to the double unders, and this is really the entire workout, I want you to remember this particular quote. It's a Navy SEAL mantra, and it is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. What it means is that when you're moving slow and controlled, not rushing, you will be smooth, and then that will thus make you fast. A common issue that a lot of people, especially with the double unders, will run into is that they're going to try to move too quickly. They're going to run up to the rope, they're going to be really excited to hop into those sets of double unders, and they're going to trip. And then they're going to rush into the next set, and they're going to trip, and they're going to trip. And that's just simply because they're rushing. If you're the athlete that has slow is smooth, smooth is fast ingrained into their psyche, you're going to be able to walk over to the jump rope, pick it up, take a deep breath, start with one single under or two single under. Start with a single under or two to get your bearings, and then knock out a set of unbroken double unders. The athlete who can do that and show me that poise and control is going to crush the athlete that tries to rush to that jump rope every single time. It's a 20-minute workout. The less you trip, the better your score. Even if it means you're doing a slightly slower pace in your double unders, I promise you it is going to save you in the long run. So remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I want you to start your double unders very controlled, at least with one or two single unders to make sure that you get your bearings. What we don't want to see is for you to pick up the rope and immediately trip, and then pick up the rope and immediately trip. What will happen is that'll cause frustration, and it could lead to what we call a double under meltdown. Here's another tip for double unders that not many people realize, but in your normal workouts when you're doing double unders, chances are you're counting your own reps. That often causes you to breathe in a really frantic manner. So because this is one of the only times of the year where you'll actually have a judge watching and counting your reps, I'm telling you, don't count your reps, focus on your breathing. That is going to be a huge win, especially if we're talking 10, 15-ish rounds of this workout. If you can pick up the rope and just start jumping and not necessarily worry about counting, let someone do that out loud for you, and they can do the counting. It's going to allow you to actually get some rest, to breathe, to focus, to center yourself. If you're sitting there counting, or even worse, holding your breath, which I see people do all the time with double unders, that is going to spike your heart rate, and you're going to get crushed in this 20-minute workout. So remember, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and then remember to breathe. Don't worry about counting your own reps. The next thing I want to talk about when it comes to double unders is what I call having a happy rope. So when you're doing your double under sets and you finally finish the set, it's very easy to just toss the rope to the side or throw it up in the air. You're excited and you move on to the next thing, which is back to the dumbbell thrusters. The issue is that when you circle back around to pick up that jump rope, it is a complete tangled mess, and it's a disaster, and it makes you frustrated, and you're trying to untangle it, and it's total chaos. So all you need to do is spend an extra half second, finish your double under set, place the handles down on your jump rope, place them down on the ground so that it makes a smiley face. That's all you need. Put the rope down, it makes a smiley face. That's what we call a happy rope. And then what happens is when you come back around to the jump rope, when you come back around to the double unders and you pick up that rope, it's going to be ready to go, and it's not going to be tangled, and you'll be able to go right into your sets. Again, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and you won't have to deal with the frustrations or the tangles, and you won't have a double under meltdown, which we've already mentioned. Another thing I want to mention about double unders, we have so much content, probably more than any other movement ever. We have so much content on the internet about double unders. We even have a complete 8-week step-by-step training course called Double Unders Unleashed. Right now, I would encourage you, if you're someone who's struggling to do double unders, or maybe you've never done a double under before, please go searching for WODprep double under content. There is so much good stuff out there. I can't include it all in this video, but it's out there on the web, and most of it is totally free and ready for you to use. If you're someone who's struggling with double unders, maybe you can't hit unbroken sets, it's okay to still hit this workout RX. Doing something like single, double is fine. All you would have is your judge would only count the double unders that are successful. If you do that, just try to keep your rope spinning, and you might be surprised at how quickly you can accumulate those reps. So we've talked about pacing. We've talked about dumbbell thrusters that are really freaking heavy. We've talked about toes to bar. And yes, we've talked about the dreaded double under. I hope that this video is going to help you get your best score possible on CrossFit Open 20.2. Remember, if you go to WODprep.com, you can sign up for the Ultimate Strategy Guide. It is a free strategy guide that we send early Friday morning, and we send it through the weekend. All you need to do is go to WODprep.com and sign up, and you can get the Ultimate Strategy Guide for this workout and all the other open workouts completely free. Next, I mentioned that if you were a CrossFit Masters athlete, we have something special for you. We just recently opened up the doors to WODprep Plus. It is a Masters-only coaching community that will connect you, the Masters athlete, directly to the WODprep coaching team. If you want customized workout strategies for the CrossFit Open, if you want someone to analyze your snatch, if you want someone to look at your double unders and tell you why you're doing them wrong and tripping, then WODprep Plus is the place for you. It is the best CrossFit Masters coaching community on the web, and it's also really affordable. So make sure you click the link in the comments or in the description. I pinned it there for you, and you can go check out all the details for WODprep Plus. It is incredible, and we have an amazing deal going on right now during the CrossFit Open. Last but not least, if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, smash that notification bell, thumbs up if you like the video, thumbs down for some reason. If you hate me or you hate this gym or you hate something about this video, hit the thumbs down, but we always like the thumbs up, and we really appreciate it. And last but not least, I want to know in the comments below, we've already talked about monkey butt, so make sure you've left comments about that, but how are you going to hit this workout? I want to hear your strategy. I want to hear what your game plan is going into the workout, and then even better, if you can come back later in the weekend and let everyone know how you did, that's really going to help. So tell us, which division are you in? How old are you? Are you going to do it RX or scaled? And let us know what your strategy is. I can't wait to check the comments, and I might be able to actually give you some feedback on your strategy down there. And I'll see you next week for 20.3.